Welcome back to the South Main Auto channel. If you're new here, welcome to our channel. Got this '09 Mitsubishi Outlander with a 4-cylinder in it, all-wheel drive, and a lady's hot. By that I mean her air conditioner is not working. So she wants us to check that out and see what's wrong with it. Grab some quick readings here. It's a scorcher in New York today, let me tell you. It's like 84 inside the shop, and it's got to be about 70% humidity. Alright, well I turn the AC on, I hear the fan kick on under the hood. Let me just make sure it's not because it's warmed up. No, the fan just turned off. Fan just turned on. Don't feel any change here. I crank it up to the hot side. Oh yeah, it's definitely hot. Switch it back to max AC. And our temperature gauge is staying pretty steady here. You can see we're just holding about 90 degrees, between 85 and 90. So it's pretty warm today. But I do hear the fan running, so that tells us quite a bit of a story there usually. So by that fan kicking on, that tells me, a lot of things really on a modern vehicle. Typically the ECM will control the or have some portion of the control of the AC clutch, and typically it's the ECM, but it might receive inputs from body modules or different things. And I don't know the case for this, but I would assume that because the fan kicks on, the ECM is preparing or is attempting to turn on the AC compressor, because that's one of the things that happens. It'll take pressure readings from the high and low pressure sensor. It'll take that into account with perhaps like ambient temperature sensor and engine load and throttle position and things of that nature. So I guess before we get all crazy and throw a gauge set and stuff on it, let's just kind of have a look under the hood. Let's see if the compressor's kicking on. I don't think it is, because I didn't hear it, snap shut, and I didn't hear the engine, bog down slightly as it kicked on. So let's have a look at that, and we'll take the diagnosis from there. Well, we can see here that the AC compressor is obviously not kicking on. Let's grab a screwdriver and give it a little poke, see if it's an air gap issue. Alright, well it's obvious the clutch is not kicking on just as we expected. I did reach down in there with a screwdriver and give that a little push like we did on that last Honda video to see if perhaps just the magnet was weak. Definitely not the case. So let's throw this car up in the air, have a look at the compressor, see if we can just see if the connector is easy to get to on it. If it is, we'll just test for power right at the clutch. If it's kind of buried, then we'll kind of work our way backwards, maybe by the relay or fuse or whatever's easier to get at, and we'll look at some wiring diagrams. So just real quick, what we're going to be looking at here is, get this diagram over here so we can see what we're looking at. Alright, so if everything is working, come down here, we got our AC compressor. Okay, so here's our compressor clutch, just a single wire going to it. I believe, let me see where that's coming from. I think the AC relay. Yeah, so that's coming from the AC compressor relay right here. When it's commanded on, relay closes, sends power down our light green wire. Just zoomed in for us here. It goes to our AC compressor, which looks like it comes down, goes through a normally closed temperature switch, and then out of that temperature switch into the coil. I don't know if they're all integrated or whatever, but that's what we're going to be looking for. So we're just going to test for some power on this light green wire and see what we have. Get an idea where I'm going to be at. So underneath it here, this is the back of the AC compressor, and that connector right there, relatively easy to get to. I can't really see any colors on it, but I assume it's our light green wire. It's the only single wire going to the clutch. And the temperature switch here must be these 2 wires here that are on the back of the compressor. So it goes from the relay into this wire, through this temperature switch, and then to the coil on the front of the compressor. So that's what we're going to be checking for. All right, go ahead and start it. All right, turn the air conditioner on, will you? Well, I heard the fans kick on, so we're going to test this with our, I just got a back probe here. And it was about this point when the audio got really, really bad. I tried to get the camera kind of repositioned around here so we could see, and well, with the fans kicking on, it was really, really difficult to stay out of the camera way and get it so you could actually hear the audio. But currently the car is running. As you heard, the AC is on. I'm back probed into the back of the AC compressor, the single wire running to the compressor. And we can see, obviously, from looking at this test light, that we have power running into the thermal override switch. And we kind of move the camera up here so you guys can hopefully see where I'm back probed. But like I said, it was pretty tight quarters. And what I do here is I have the girl in the car turn the AC on and off, and you can see it toggles off, and then obviously it toggles back on there as the AC is being commanded on and off. So we got a proper signal going in. Okay, well that's interesting. So we go back here to the wiring diagram. That basically just narrowed down about a bazillion different things there. We don't have to check the charge. We don't have to check anything from the compressor back, because the compressor is getting the signal to turn on. That only leaves us with essentially 3 options. We either have a broken wire from here to the compressor clutch, or we have an AC refrigerant temperature switch that is, gone open where it's supposed to be normally closed from the looks of this diagram. It says here no color available. I can only assume it's those 2 black wires that we see. So from the looks of it, we should have power in and power out. If we got power in and power out, we're going to have to pull some more apart on this thing to get towards the coil and see if wires broke off or whatever. Being those 2 wires are right in the back, I think we can just kind of poke into those pretty easy and see what's going on here. It's kind of a tight one to record. So what I did is, here's the single wire running to the AC clutch. Okay, now that runs, as we remember from the wiring diagram, the wire that we tested, which you can see the back probe hanging out of up there, goes in through that temperature switch, out of the temperature switch, and to this single wire on the AC clutch. I've taken the female half of this plug. I've got it sticking out the back, so that's what I'm going to refer to. I don't know if you guys can hear me when it's running, so that's what I'm going to test. I'm going to verify we have power going in, verify we have power coming out. If that's the case, what we'll do is we can jump 12 volts to this to make sure that it's definitely a bad clutch, or in this case, it could be a bad, a bad switch, or whichever the case may be. We're going to 100% verify it. Like I say, you can see my back probe there going in, and you see that little barrel connector underneath it. That's the output to the AC clutch. I'll try to do my best here. Turn the AC on. And again, our audio takes a dump. At any rate, you can see as we turn the AC on, we have power going into the connector, or thermal switch rather, and we have power coming out. So where I'm probed right now is the output of the thermal switch. That is the input right there. That's the output, and it's pretty obvious that we have power going in, and we also have power coming out, so that verifies that the thermal switch is good. Well, it's not looking good. Looking like the clutch coil is bad here. So what I've got is I've just got a jumper wire off the battery. You can see it's hot. What I'll do is I'll hook it on the clutch wire. You can see nothing is happening. Now, theoretically, when we hook that up like that, well, it should engage the clutch. Obviously, the clutch can still have a a bad ground at this point. So what we can do to kind of rule that out, we'll hook our test light up here. just go ahead and touch the clutch, compressor. I mean, obviously the compressor is grounded. Even the compressor shaft, everything here is grounded. Well, yeah, it's obviously riding on a bearing, but let me touch the inner part of the clutch coil here. Yeah, the inner part of the coil is grounded. Everything I'm touching is grounded. So that's pretty definitive. This baby needs a new clutch. Alright viewers, it's all over but the crying. Got to make that phone call, let them know what it's going to be. Unfortunately, I did some looking here to see what was available, and there is nothing aftermarket. This is dealer only. Unless they want to go with a compressor, there are like 2 aftermarket companies that make compressors. Through the dealer, the compressor is like out of this world, price-wise. But we can, if they choose so, I think we can get an aftermarket compressor out of one of the companies that make it for about the same price. We can replace the clutch. I don't know if you could hear it on the video or not, but there was quite a bit of noise in that bearing and hub assembly. You know, and even when I was rotating the compressor by hand, you could just, it doesn't feel 100% right. And you know, I know that's just kind of, you know, basing it on my own feelings and you know, what I think. But if it was me, given the mileage, got about 100,000 miles on it, I think it would be in their best interest to replace the whole compressor, in my opinion. I hate to see, you know, spend, you know, $300-400 on a clutch kit and new hub bearing, and then, you know, a year later the compressor pukes, and, you know, now you're putting, you know, that again back into a compressor. So that's just my opinion. You can see, hopefully, that it was a pretty easy system to test to see why the AC's not coming on, and it's not always a case of a low charge or a leak. You know, it could be something like this where, well, we've got everything we need being sent to the compressor, but the compressor's not kicking on. So what I'll do is I'll call the customer and see what they want to do. If they decide to go ahead and do it, I'll order one, and we'll make a part 2 on this to verify the fix. If not, this is the end of it. So we'll leave it at that. At any rate, you can check us out on Facebook if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and I also ask that you consider subscribing if you want to stay up to date with our latest publications that we put out almost weekly. And you can also find us on Google Plus too if you want to connect with us socially there. So just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.